in this case, for overall, when we're talking about Firebrand, we're talking about stability and stun break. In this case, they have to figure out a way to give every class stun break and stability, and it makes me wonder, for the World v. World community, would people be okay with that? Would people be happy if every class got a stability and a stun break? Like,
No, but that's also not what their design philosophy is. Their design philosophy, hopefully going forward in World versus World, all the way. Oh, by the way, we might have to cut this whole aside because it's like, you know, Firebrand episode rather than meta episode. But their whole design philosophy around how they want stab to work and how they want Aegis to work is actually giving 2 to 3 classes of source, and I think that's a healthy point for the meta to be in. I think one of the things we talked about in one of the earlier episodes is how Boon Corruption and Boon Strip is actually in a really healthy place in the meta, where there's about 4 classes that can do it, and each class that does it brings something unique to the table. If they could design stability around that, and they could design damage around that, and they could design like stealth and blasts and other utility around that, I think it would be a really healthy place, where it's not necessarily that you have every class can do X and then there's no feeling of uniqueness anymore, but to have more than one class be able to do it, so that if you're coming into World versus World and you're, you know, a thief main or like a ranger main, that there are actually 1 or 2 roles that you can fill, rather than just being like, oh, guess what, nobody plays your class in a group that's over like 10 people.
I mean,
because that's a big feels bad for someone who's just starting World versus World.
I mean,
like,
I
I
will
leveled
say
my Ranger 1 to 80. I love my Ranger. My pet is really cool. And then you get to World versus World, and you're like, your pet doesn't get stealth, so you need to put that away. And also, nobody uses your class except for roaming.
except mobile arrow cards are literally one of the gods' gifted creations, and you can't change my mind otherwise.
Yeah. So, but I like quietly said at the start, we don't want to get too into the weeds on like specific class meta. We want to stay more general. So
no, so probably... I want to say this too quickly before we like either move on or continue. That ANET did strictly say that they want to. The reason they backpedaled on this nerf is because of the, you know, the backlash from it. Because I originally was like, yes, I want more personal responsibility in World v. World. I don't want to rely 100% on my Firebrand to give me the stability that I need to live. Like, I want it to be more. But ANET did strictly say that they want to, add more sources of stab reliably to other classes before they nerf Firebrand or while they nerf Firebrand. So if you're listening to this in the future and this already happened and you're like, what is happening? Just know that this has been going on since, like I said, Path of Fire, even before Path of Fire, kind of since like the game's start. Guardian was considered king.
If you're interested in listening to the full recording of this episode of Say Chat Podcast, you can find the link in the description below. Thank you very much for listening. Bye!